getting the day started. I have a lot of cravings, so coffee, and gonna do waffles for the kids. I really want to do a waffle for myself, but patience. And we need to do a gallon of water, so these mason jars, honestly, from pasta sauce, my favorite brand is the Classico. Just go ahead and I use this to chart my measurements. And honestly, fill it to the top. I can count my black coffee. I try to drink a little bit more than just black coffee, because it's a diuretic, but this is around 20 ounces. Kit noodle. Just on the windowsill. I just top off when I am over here doing dishes. So 20. Need at least five more of those, and then for whatever I'm having for coffee, we're set. So this is just the Aldi waffle stuff. I'm not gonna make them for myself today. I'm making it for my family, but just living kind of alongside me, my husband is trying to get more protein. I don't know if you can hear the chaos in the background. By the way, I'm Josie. This is my channel where I just kind of share my journey through postpartum and kind of getting back to the life I wanted before. But this intro is gonna be very short, and honestly, this is not a day of eating. Just kind of, if the background changes, my outfits change, the angles are awful. It's chaos. All right, first one's done. Several more to go. All right, we got a little one on the piano, and I got my coffee, so I'm gonna go head to the room and let's try and knock this little chit chat out. All right, so I actually need to like take a shower and stuff. I called my husband, and this is a mess. So just to kind of explain everything that's going on and why I've been horrible at posting some of these long form things is I actually do have like 2 other channels, and one of them is related more so to like this and homemaking, and it's busy. So one of the things I've been learning with the bodybuilding and motherhood with all these projects is my priorities. And right now, a lot of stuff has been taking the back seat, just because I really want to do this show. I want to get it done. I have been wanting to do this since 2019. And I was leaning out, I was looking at shows, and it was like, great, like I'm gonna get married, I could do this, it's incentivizing to like to be shredding for the wedding and everything. And I can actually get pretty lean and still keep my cycle going, keep it healthy, which great for me that that my body can really endure quite a bit before giving. I've never lost my cycle, my period, or anything like that from being too lean, and so I've not experienced that yet. Now I might for this show eventually, so I'm aiming for October. Sometimes I think like I am lean enough to maybe do something in August, but when I look at people who are pros since So went ahead, got myself more coffee. Anyway, when I look at like the pros, IFBB pros and stuff, and you just kind of watching their videos or show day vlogs and people who do really well, place very well, I definitely think I could stand to be far more conditioned than I am. And so I'm just trusting the process. My coach is still not saying I'm ready for anything soon, just that it's time to get a suit, and I still haven't done that. But she's sending me stuff as well about how to make sure any pre-owned or rental suits, like show day type alterations using safety pins and things like that, so that they fit. So I'm hoping maybe I am getting pretty well conditioned, and maybe I could do something, maybe not as soon as August, but maybe like September. So my birthday's in September, and it would be super fun to be able to just have it done around then, and not to go crazy and binge afterwards. But I would love a slice of cheesecake So there's that. But yeah, it's pretty stressful with the parenting when I was trying to just make sure the whole house was, I treated homemaking like a hobby, and definitely with, all right, back on track. Homemaking as a hobby. I treated homemaking as a hobby, and right now, this is my hobby, as in like working out, going to the gym, prioritizing my fitness, and prioritizing my food, because it's a lot more whole foods and less like made ahead, and I'm not eating what the rest of my family is eating. Yes, they're eating more of what I'm eating, if that makes sense, but mine are still far more curated on like the portions of everything. So yeah, I will bulk make things like rice. My kids don't really like rice, and ground beef. Some of my kids like ground beef. It's not that hard to like swap ground beef, season that, and then like season chicken and stuff like that. My husband, but like I still have to portion my stuff out and meal prepping. That is where a lot of my extra time goes to, making sure I'm getting the meats out in time to thaw them, versus like I could just make a whole pan of lasagna, hamburger pie, shepherd's pie, you know, just make ahead. Something I've done before is like make ahead breakfast sandwiches, and I'm not having my breakfast sandwiches anymore, and I learned about avocado toast, but like, you know, I have to measure the grams that I'm using just to do toast. So it's stuff like that, where homemaking was my hobby before, and then I tried doing both to the same extent, and it something just had to give. So I've got like sewing projects that I want to do, and then as far as the house goes, it's this stuff. There's mold. We found another mold issue. It looks like another roof leak. We've had a leak that needed to be repaired, and that's been taken care of. There was mold in the crawl space, and now it looks like there's a roof leak from maybe like popped nails or something, so you can't see it. There's not like water leaks anywhere, but the room's open. And then my husband and I have been working on building a loft in the garage. So I do have a home gym, and then there is some equipment in the garage as well. He welded a pull-up bar, and he's been welding a loft, but I've been helping with that. And so something has to give. And truthfully, as long as the kitchen is on top of, the clothes are clean, not even always folded, and like I can keep the counters wiped and the bathroom sanitary, my house has kind of gone downhill. My sewing has gone downhill, and I've been focusing on my fitness and then these other projects that are urgent, because as much as I would love to sweep and mop the floors on a daily basis, the past few weeks has not been happening. Get things like the mold needs to be addressed. Water damage needs to be addressed, and it's definitely been work learning to prioritize, and then making these videos. As you see, so many changes. God, this is like my third or fourth cup of coffee. Lunch has been taken care of. I feel like I'm getting a little sidetracked, so why don't we just go into some of the things that I've been noticing since exercising more, leaning out. If you have been following along, I think you understand that I'm dealing with some postpartum issues in terms of I do have diastasis, and something that happened was for doing leg raises 3 weeks back. My coach had me doing leg raises and stuff, and yeah, I felt like my core was getting bigger. And one day I was in the gym, and so the hanging leg raises, so you're on a pull-up bar, and in the gym you bring your legs up, you know, and I did that, and I would do it watching myself in the mirror. There's a big mirror, and all of a sudden, so I had a diastasis, right? You see this here? That is it called epigastric? It's a type of hernia. It's not as crazy as umbilical. It's like fatty tissue. And what happened is this whole area just bulged out. It was very thin, just bulged out. I could feel it. I could feel the tissue pushing through that abdominal wall, because it's like this. And ever since then, I felt like my core wasn't as strong. When I ate, I looked very pregnant. I had that classic postpartum belly that I did after I gave birth to all of my kids. And this bulge here was like very prominent, even more. And I kind of feel like it's more prominent now. Now, that could also be because of fat. Actually, like in the lighting, what is it? This is just loose skin. This could also be because I've been losing fat, that it looks more prominent. But for a moment there, a hot minute there, it was crazy. And the one thing that I've really been appreciating about having a coach, and she's had 3 kids and stuff, so is that she took my concern seriously. I sent her pictures. Did I send her a video? I told her, hey, this happened. And usually she's very prompt. And I said, hey, because I don't think she answered me at the gym right then. Yeah, no. Hey, this happened. So when I was at the gym, I let her know what happened, and she gave me a new exercise to do. And then when I was at home and just kind of like in the mirror the next day, I told her about that. And so instead of just practicing like bracing better, because that's what we did at first, so I just did less reps per set. And then I really worked on doing like, I think a vacuum hold while I did it, and to really hold my muscles together, but it didn't help. She completely redid my ab routine. So now I have a separate abdominal routine, and it involves like throwing a medicine ball down, which is like, it's kind of like, that feels full body to me, but, like crossover, was it X crunches and the one-legged sit-ups, and the one-legged sit-ups and stuff is something that, my pelvic floor therapist, physical therapist had me doing too, before I had my surgery. And after that, now 3 weeks later, I feel like my core is kind of like back to where it was before that whole incident. And but I was doing weighted crunches. So if you have diastasis like I do, that is something where if you're going to be getting into bodybuilding and stuff like that, or just any kind of core work, you have to be careful of. And when you notice any weird bulge, it definitely feels wrong too. It feels wrong when it happens. So I do think it's kind of self-evident. Might not be, but you can look into it. But yeah, so lots of things that are like on the diagonal of my body and the diagonal of my core. X crunches, one-legged sit-ups, and I feel a lot better. And I still feel like I'm getting a decent ab workout with that too. It's to the point where I'm doing more reps, and I'm thankful for that. And the other thing that I've been noticing since having had my surgery, so I had a Rectocele, it's a type of prolapse, and the other thing that I've been noticing is I had a bit there where I felt like I was so healed, I didn't feel anything, but now my right side is larger than my left side. So instead of doing 2 legs for most things with maybe like just some dumbbell walking lunges type deal or Bulgarian split squats, she has me doing a lot more single leg workout. And ever since doing the single leg workout, I do need to be a little bit mindful. I will feel irritation on the scar line. So if you look up what a rectocele surgery involves, a corrective surgery for that involves, just imagine as a girl, the whole backside of the vaginal canal, vaginal wall, whatever, has a big scar in it. It's like all the way up, and there's some irritation there. And I'm going to assume it's probably just a nerve thing. And fortunately, it mostly, at worst, feels like a slight pinch, but mainly just kind of feels itchy. So it'll feel itchy during the workout to maybe like 3 to 6 hours afterwards, and then by the end of the day I feel fine again. So that is a little bit irritating. I do think I've noticed it with if I do higher intensity cardio, like the spin bike on a high resistance, like anytime I'm pushing myself more, anything that's like running, stair stepping, anything where it's this. And I don't know why it's the irritation, but maybe it's like the nerves are growing. I do have another post-op appointment in September, and I'm wondering how that's going to go because I'm going to be in there way leaner than the last time I saw my doctor. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so I definitely have been getting irritation with anything that is any kind of like deeper squat, so deeper hack squats, leg press, anything like that. Okay, anything where my legs are apart, anything where it's not pulses, it's more glute bias. So when you do a leg press and your legs are up higher on the leg press than just square in the center. So anything more glute biased, deep, though I don't feel like I've noticed it with sumo squats. But then when I do a lot of just the single leg work, like on the Smith machine and barbell lunges, I've been finding that I feel that. I've never done good mornings until recently. So last week was the first time I did it. She added that to my routine, and those are amazing. So yeah, I do still experience issues with that. So this is the portion where I'm really hoping anybody who is really into fitness and possibly coming across this video, wondering, hey, you know, if you've dealt with this after having kids or for whatever reason you have a rectocele prolapse, like how is it getting back into not just being like active, but aggressively like bodybuilding? Like, yes, I'm not huge, but I do put like, you know, an hour to 3 hours in the gym a few times a week, plus like just at home too. I have my home gym, and it's doable and it's getting better. And I will say, like, the minor pinch, like when I do feel like a minor pinch or just that kind of itchiness, it fades. Whereas in the past, was it like when I was first like trying to lift heavier weights again, it lasted longer, or I wouldn't notice anything and then I'd feel it like the next day, which is kind of wild. So I do notice it, like before I leave the gym. If I'm gonna feel irritation, I feel it. But it's not sore. You know, it's like an irritated scar. I think that's what the scar itself, the scar tissue is kind of irritated, gets itchy. You know, I don't know if like when you get other scars, like they itch. Like this definitely itched. This, because I had a tubal ligation too. And so here's scar. That'll itched. Also, my belly button is way droopier now. So it's very droopy, and my skin is getting thinner and thinner. So this is something I've noticed. I've lost the fat here. I mean, I still have fat here, but this is like one of the harder places for me. So this is how I know I'm getting lean, because it'll bubble out. I put a lot of fat there, and I have it on this side. So I have that cut, you know, when you think bikini competitor cut, bodybuilder competitor cut, I have that. And that is so cool to me. So sorry, the transition from topic is a little off, but also my arm, like, what is this? Like, look at this. Look at the tricep. I'm losing my skin is getting thinner here. This is another area. Oh, here we go. The fat is leaving. Got this here, the chest, and then back is giving, what is it giving? It's giving back. And then I don't know if you can see the triangle here. This is kind of, I'm limited time-wise. But yeah, one of the questions that my coach had was, how are your clothes fitting? And this like is getting too big. What's crazy though is, like, because my arms have gotten stronger, I went to go put the pink version of this on, and as I was putting it on, I just hear, and when I go put it on, the straps like completely loose. So I like ripped a bunch of threads, and I gotta fix it. I don't have my sewing station cleared up because, as I mentioned earlier, I am neglecting things like my homemaking channel that involves crafts and sewing and stuff, and it's not cleaned up. So, and it takes time to sew, and it's a mental energy. I don't know. It feels like a level of engineering, and I just don't feel like doing it. So I might just get like more simple ones that don't have the really fancy back or anything, so I'm not ripping straps, and I need to get smaller stuff. But yeah, my clothes are not fitting well. These, like 4 pounds ago, skin tight, and now they're loose, and I like to wear a belt. This is where they should be sitting, here. They're very loose. So there's that. My face is getting thinner. So if you see my forehead, you can't see it right now. There we go. Things like this, like my temples, I'm losing fat from my scalp and forehead, which is crazy to think about that. And yeah, losing a lot of fat. I often have that keto breath, which is wild. So from what I've seen, if you're doing a strength training workout and you are low on the, glucose stores, glycogen stores, I need to learn my terms to be able to make these videos and make them not as cringe. Then, and you're starting to burn fat to sustain your energy, you'll get that even if you're not on a keto diet. The point is your body's still using your fat. It's the breakdown of fat will release those ketones. And so I have the keto breath often. Not all the time, but a lot. And it's kind of encouraging. I know for a lot of people, it tastes kind of bad. I kind of like the way it tastes. And I think it's also that mental association with, oh yeah, we're in a fat breathing dragon mode. We are burning the fat cells and getting really lean. And I like that. So I'm gonna sip more coffee. Oh yeah, lots of striations starting. And this is like not even with a pump. I got a lot of striations going, which, you know what's crazy is when you look at the requirements, it says to have limited striations for things like fit model and bikini. But when I talked to both my coach and then also my posing coach, it's like, these girls have striations. And that's what I was wondering, because when I watch the shows and I look at like the competitors who are pros and Olympians, they have striations. Now, the only thing is I do have a pretty good quad sweep. And I'm gonna stand on this real quick. I got quad sweep. So when I'm doing my posing, my coach still has me doing quads. She did reduce it a little bit, but I have fat here. Like I can't really have my leg just out when I do my posing. I need to make sure like my knee is more in here. So it's not that you're seeing all this in the front, because that's going to be seen, right? But it's this silhouette. At least that's what my posing coach says. It's the silhouette. So we want to limit, I don't know. I'm just trying to remember what it is. So that's something I'm practicing. But that is my update in regards to how I'm doing with the competition. My macros are pretty good, I think. I think my coach has it very well dialed in. I am making a lot of progress and I am very excited. I should do more updates. I'm definitely working on posing. I got another posing class coming up, or posing lesson coming up this coming Sunday. And yeah, I'm excited. I guess the other thing is like I gotta cut my hair, but I put my hair in a braid, so I can't really show the reasoning behind that. And who knows how much time I'm gonna have left to do this, but that's my update. Diastasis, had issues with that. My coach helped resolve it. And then as far as like the Rectocele goes while trying to compete, it's just a minor irritation, but it's not in any way that feels concerning at all. It feels very similar to like any more surface level scars that I've had, just it's more internal. And when I do load bearing things, it's frustrating. And then I guess the only other thing is I kind of stopped eating as much as far as like the diet goes. I stopped eating as many dark leafy greens. I can do things like bell peppers and anything colorful, but when I'm doing any like kale, broccoli, spinach, although I love it, I get bloated like crazy. And so my coach is just like, be mindful of micronutrients. We don't want you to become deficient. So we're trying to do this as healthy as possible, especially since I'm refusing to do any kind of like any extra to make it easier or anything like that. And so we don't want me getting malnourished and deficient in any kind of ways where, I mean, that's why I'll take like a multivitamin to help with that. But yeah, just still making sure I'm getting at least colorful vegetables, but I probably should be having more than I am. And now I think I'm rambling, but that could just be prep brain. So if you made it this far, thank you for sticking around. If you're interested in any videos like this, and also with the comments, I don't know what's up with YouTube's comments. It could also be because I primarily use like apps for it as opposed to the desktop, but I have had issues, and I guess I need to regularly like delete the apps and then reinstall them. I'm not getting notified about comments like I used to, and so I will try and check and see if I can see the comments. Feel free to leave them there if you have any questions. I will try to answer them, but if I answer them and it's like a week or more later, I am so sorry. It's not because I'm not looking for comments. I'll see it being like, oh, extra comments, and I'll go looking for the past several videos that I've done and I can't see it. But feel free to leave a comment. I will try to answer it in a timely manner. If you are interested in following along for my bikini journey, bikini competitor journey, then feel free to subscribe. If you're also still interested in just the occasional updates on how, you know, the diastasis is being handled during this kind of thing, and just recovering from such an aggressive surgery during this kind of thing, you know, feel free to subscribe. I know when I was looking for people living their lives after this kind of surgery, I didn't see a whole lot of just like repeat updates. And I know I've been updating less and less in regards to that. It's because it's better and better. But there are occasionally still things that come up, and just the itchy pinch thing, you know, that was one of them. But overall, I would say life has been very good to me. Busy, hectic, and my house is a little bit of a disaster recently. Not to mention mold and water leaks, and the garage is a mess. But there'll be a gym coming out of that. I look forward to sharing on that. Life is still pretty good, so I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you around for the next one, whenever the heck it is that I share that. Bye.